Kiko Mio was under so much pressure as an Osiris. He was always the target of the Raven and the Erlang, so it was difficult for him to shine, I guess.
Yeah, certainly an Osiris, whilst very strong, does struggle when it comes to being focused out. It doesn't have a lot of self-peel. He's only got that Laurel Afterlife to try and get away. So we head into the picks and bans here. We've got Direwolves taking away the Kronos, still running that back. The Morrigan, again, taken away by Legacy. So nothing much changing so far in the first round of bans, but didn't expect it to be honest.
Yeah, so Direwolves once again first pick, even though they lost. So what we've seen was Legacy let them have first pick last game as well. They
did, and I imagine that Raven gets picked up by Direwolves as a first pick this time. They keep the Kronos Ganesh bans. If Khepri is left open, they might take that. But if Khepri is banned away here, which I expect it to be by Legacy, I'd like to see them pick up Raven. We know Ro can play it. We know how strong Ro is with an early pressure lead.
Yeah.
So give him Raven. Take it away from Legacy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Freemason was 12-1 at one point in that game.
Would you put it... Yeah, that was insane, dude. That was all off the back of Freemason, but the collective team effort is what won them the game. Sure, you can have someone solo carrying, but you can't carry all the way to the end of the game. And as you predicted,
take it away.
Ravana first pick. And Ro is certainly not a weak Ravana player.
No, and Double Warrior instantly locked for Legacy, though, so...
Who goes jungle?
We saw them play Osiris jungle earlier, did we not?
No.
Or was that Kanga?
No, Osiris was only let through in the last game, and that was solo.
No, there was an earlier game where Osiris was played in the jungle.
You sure?
I believe it was by Legacy. It was a long time ago. It was the start of the day, I'm pretty sure. But
that's too
Osiris
long.
Osiris Erlang were locked in, and we were trying to discuss which one goes where. Osiris ended up going to the jungle. So Legacy have this second comp of Double Warrior. They now pick up the Soul. Sobek gets picked up again for the Direwolves, prioritizing that support. We'll see if Spork's able to be a bit more effective in this early game this time. Ro now on Raven doesn't require peel himself, as Wheelish does.
Yeah.
You've also got a cheater on Toth, a lot safer in the mid lane. Disapparate, whilst a great ability, if you're too far down the lane, you're going to get chased down by a Double Warrior comp.
Yeah, pretty much.
Toth able to peel for himself. Sobek now able to focus on peeling for the Toth when needed. Raven to a lesser degree, and then for his Hunter as well in the late game. So Spork will have a bit more freedom in what he can do, as well as having an extra frontliner on the side of Direwolves in the form of Raven, where they can now deal with this double pressure out of Osiris and Erlang Shen.
Yeah.
And then feed it back the other way. Geb gets taken away by Direwolves. It looked like they tried to get Legacy to pick Geb.
Yeah.
Legacy punished them for it. So
that was that ending play though. We've just went bang, 4-man Cataclysm.
Yeah, and that was the difference in the game. At the end of the day, while they were unable to close out, Weave's Geb play in that game was so on point that he kept Idivine alive at such low HP. We kept saying, gets out with 5 HP, gets out with 5 HP. Geb's shield is the reason why they were getting out most of the time.
And Shell as well. You can see the health bar just made up of the shield was about 60% of his HP.
How are you meant to burn through that after you've already used all your abilities to burn through that HP so far? So Geb Athena get taken off the board by Direwolves. Summerkong Bellona targeted by Legacy, but Kiki plays Sobek. Let's not forget that.
He does. So support could still be open.
Them banning away Guardians kind of leans towards that they're probably not looking for.
Unless they have one in mind. But what would Sporks play?
Barkas?
Maybe. Fafnir?
Fafnir is still available. Neither of these teams really prioritizing Fafnir though so far. Although Legacy might take it as their support now, having Geb taken off the board, but they'll take the Terror instead.
Okay. Interesting. Weave is a strong Terror player. Not his strongest, but certainly nothing to scoff at. We'll see what the reply is. So what do they need? They need a Hunter, and they need support, possibly a solo laner.
I'd say more likely a solo laner. Maybe a Hercules doesn't have a great matchup there, but it's the only real thing available, right? Unless they're playing Kamazots in the solo lane.
Yeah, that's still open.
Kamazots hasn't been picked up by either team yet.
Raven solo with a Kamazots jungle.
They could. I think Camazotz is actually a better solo, personally, than Raven.
Why is that?
It's able to deal with warriors. Raven, whilst being able to deal with warriors, is much more effective against those the backline targets. Sorry, so being able to get to the backline and do a lot of damage. But Huyi Fafnir, so it looks like it will be Kiki taking his Sobek back over to the solo lane, unless it's Fafnir. Maybe he throws Spanner in the box, brings out a Fafnir, but
that would be weird.
Would be weird.
I kind of want to see that.
A lot of physical damage is relying on the backs of Mingyu and Ro, but if you're going to rely on anyone to bring damage, putting on the backs of those two, not a bad idea. And then you've always got the reliable damage coming out of a cheater as well. So, rounding out the draft, probably looking for a hunter here. What do you take against the Huyi? Do you take the Jingwei that Direwolves tried to bring, or do you go for something more conventional like a Rama that we've seen today? Yeah, every hunter is open. None were banned, just Huyi picked Rama. Sure, why not? Makes sense.
Galen has been doing well at landing those snipes, and the attack speed increase is absolutely insane. So we've seen how strong it is, and I guess everyone knows exactly what Rama does. Early game, not great. His wave clear is good with the astral arrows, but it's more the mid to late game with that attack speed increase that is his strength. That steroid is the difference between hitting a lot of basic attacks at once and not. So that late game hyper carry is going to come in handy for Legacy. They've got a team comp that's going to really benefit from things like Shogun's Kasari. Great amount of attack speed auras will be coming out, I would say, from the side of Legacy. Direwolves, though, whilst Legacy's frontline is very tanky, Direwolves is then that next level of tankiness. They have inherent protections from 2 different passives, then they have a Raven on top of that, who's going to be looking to dive into the backline and cause complete chaos with the Sobek. You pair a Sobek and Raven together and a Fafnir, all 3 of those can potentially... They're not going to all dive the backline at once. They're going to peel for their backline. But you've got options. If Sobek's in a better position to be in the backline causing issues, Fafnir can then peel for his carries. And vice versa. And then you've got Raven just doing Raven things. Not much to explain there other than he's going to dive the backline and he's probably going to kill someone. Yeah, he sure will. Clap them to death, slow them down. And even if they get away, oh, look at that Mystic Rush and they're dead. What a surprise. So for the side of Legacy, what is their strength here? They've got 3 frontliners as well. Pretty strong, Osiris Ule. Their strength is basic attack damage mostly. Abilities are going to come into it to a degree, but they don't have a lot of AoE. That's the thing that's kind of lacking from their comp. They have a good teamfight comp. They've got decent control. Freemason does take that Osiris back to the jungle again. The issue for me is that whilst they have decent control, Direwolves again have the better CC comp. Last game it was more in the favour of Legacy. Purely just Osiris doesn't bring enough CC. Whilst he's a strong laning bully, if he doesn't get ahead, and he's not massively ahead, he's not so tanky that he's never going to die, if he gets focused, then he gets in a lot of trouble, and then you're not bringing anything to your team at that point. Alright. So Vampiric Shroud, that's been changed, hasn't it? Yep, gives health now, as well as physical protections, I believe. So does it? I think it gives 10 physical protection now as well. Okay. So a little bit more of a tanky utility start. Pretty much specifically designed for magical solo laners. So and the thing, is he called out? No, he'll be safe. The healing is not on last hits, but on just hitting. As long as you hit a minion with an ability, you will get healed. So it's a lot easier for Sobek to sustain. With that 3, he will heal off everything that he hits to a maximum of 3 stacks from the ability. And then Vampiric Shroud will heal him for 6 health? Yeah, I think it's about 6 health per stack. So Sickening Strike combined with that passive from the Vampiric Shroud. Although the rotation onto a cheater here, he's in a lot of trouble. Forced to beats, has no dash available. Level 1. He's going to be dead. See you later. I was well positioned by Legacy and a smart move to use that horrific emblem pickup first. So already Freemason, 1 kill onto him. Yep, Osiris still was behind Ro a little bit there, so they managed to pick up the elementals at least, but they didn't go for the speed buff. They rotated around to the elementals and were followed the entire way. Freemason's so low now. That is a lot of damage out of an early Sobek. It sure is. It was mainly the help of that tower. So I think he landed the plug and he just got in range, and then he was dealing damage as he was retreating. So Kiki does get pinned, knocked up, bit of damage. But as we said, the 3 and the Fanford Shroud will keep him alive.
Yeah, we've still got a pot available as well. Got one ticking, so be able to heal up nicely. He's almost back to full HP now. They do invade on this speed buff, and looks like they did manage to pick it up. Yep. Idivine actually takes that one. His red buff being invaded on by Direwolf, so he'll pick up a buff for himself, keep himself a bit safer on this side.
Alright. So, Legacy with the first blood onto Ochita. It doesn't seem like it's done much to Ochita. Sure, he's a level behind. What am I looking? Yes, he is. But he's gone for that signature build that we've seen out from him today on top.
Well, it seems to be the preferred build for both Idivine and Ochita. They've both been going into it. The difference being Ochita generally goes into Swiftwing as the second item, whereas Boots are finished off by Idivine. So it's just kind of a personal preference between those two players. But we saw King Canada use it as well, picking up from a Kiki Mir getting poked out, but he'll be fine. Got enough mana to pluck himself out of danger.
Indeed. So quite a quiet early game.
Yeah, minus that early rotation around elementals. Nothing much else has happened so far. We've got Swiftwing already finished off for Row here, backing with 800 gold, but he's now finds himself 2 levels behind as a result of that first blood on Ochita. So whilst it's been uneventful, it's been a big swing in the favour of Legacy in key roles so far.
Yeah, it's 700 gold difference, which is not great, but 3 minutes into the game, it's pretty good. It's almost a whole starter item. So we'll see how that transitions to this stage where they've got all their ultimates online. Mingyu, Freemason, and Alchoco's the only one at level 5 currently. Yeah,
they'll be all level 5 Power Spike and ultimates available to them. So team fights will be a little bit more potent from both sides. I'd like to see Legacy try and take a 3v3 fight in the mid here. Only Fafnir has his ult available so far. The others having not hit level 5 yet, but they're just going to take the red buff, secure it for themselves this time. Direwolf's just kind of looking for farm and unable to find much on the map.
Yeah, it's Legacy doing exactly what they did last game and what Direwolves did to them in the first game is just, when you're ahead, take everything, because if they contest, you kill them.
Yep.
There's not much to it.
Another Swiftwing, Ochita picks this up. Interesting enough, Idivine goes into Swiftwing himself now, so maybe it is just a case of if you've got 800 gold and not 900, just pick up Swiftwing.
Sure.
Might as well. Gets you back to lane fast enough so you can start farming up again, so makes a fair bit of sense. Kiki,
maybe Divine recognized that Ochita didn't have a lot of sustain in that lane last game, so it was difficult for him to stay in the lane and obviously, to sustain. So he went for the Swiftwing for the HP 5 instead of the movement speed. There's the Divine Judgment coming through. All the ultimates are now being popped. Weave will be the first to fall in this first kill for Direwolf. Mr. Rush coming through on to L Chuckles. Mingyu is able to pick that one up. He made the full rotation from the duo lane. That's the first kill for him in this game. Divine is the next target. Divine low on mana, so he's forced to go back. Looks like Rowe will be able to find the 3, 2, 1. It doesn't land, and the Ricochet doesn't land either, but Divine, fully out of mana, will survive on such low HP. Too often have we seen that. Snipes coming through. Rowe does get picked off by Limits. Massive snipe onto him. That's the second kill for Legacy. That was a 2-for-1 trade overall. A very extended fight.
Yeah, really good rotation from Mingyu, catching him off guard. A 5-man rotation to solo lane, not expected at 5 minutes into the game. But chasing the kills a little bit too much, trying to shut down Divine, which has been their game plan a lot of the time. But getting a little bit too greedy. Rowe takes a couple of extra tower shots, and then Limits rotates over and manages to finish him off. So Kiki taking a bit of slack from Freemason, but just says get out of here.
Yeah, this is a fight of the wet noodles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Deals no damage. Yep. And if they do eventually get them down a bit, you just heal it up with whatever ability you need. Anyway, so after all of that, 101 is Mingyu and 100 is Limits. That's binary code right there, dude.
Yep, for all you computer nerds out there, you know.
Myself included.
Yep. So Reinforced Greaves finished off for the Fafnir. Interesting enough, not opting into Travels.
Cheated. Take it quite low, and he will get picked off eventually. Can Freemason find it? He can. The ultimate was popped by Ochita, but hardly any damage was traded out. So 1 for nothing so far. A couple ultimates popped. Sports. Pretty underwhelming performance so far on Fafnir.
Yeah, hasn't been able to get much going so far. Kind of stems from them just kind of losing out on all of their jungle farm in the first couple of minutes. Ochita dying, going to Fire Elementals, finishing off Fire Elementals. Again, it's been an early pick that's costing Direwolves all of their jungle, and Legacy really rolling with it. They'll grab their Elementals here, more neutral farm off the map. Mingyu floating around, looking to invade the purple buff by the things.
He sure will. He's got that ricochet. He can clear it as fast as he needs to with that, and it is quite good. Will he land the stun? No, he won't. Nicely timed roll from Limits. There's not a lot to this. I mean, forces are beads, okay. Just wants to stay in lane. He doesn't want to lose out on any farm, so a rough trade.
Yeah, I mean, beads for ultimate. The ultimate's going to be off cooldown before the beads, so pretty worth if you can get it just for the slow cleanse in those suns. Being able to call that out as well, Limits, if he does rotate to a team fight around Gold Fury, will be in danger of being picked off by Direwolves very quickly. Bit of poke being taken by Freemason, takes a hammer to the face and a bit of a hieroglyphic assault, but nothing an Osiris can't handle.
Indeed, indeed. So, where do the junglers rotate next? We can see obviously Rowe coming across to help heal L Chuckles. There's the taunt coming out, but they won't be able to kill him. He'll just heal up. It's an ult for nothing for Direwolves.
Yeah, and they'll lose their speed buff yet again as they're still trying to continue this fight in solo lane. Weaves over here to support, but in the meantime, Freemason's behind him was walking and taking speed buff. And now Freemason's coming behind trying to finish off Rowe.
Kiki, does he have the dash to survive? He does. Will he get stunned up, actually? It doesn't matter because he's already at the tower. So that's kind of the story of the tank frontliner junglers, right? They just come in, they don't get too much damage off, and they're too difficult to kill. They just sort of walk back to tower.
Kind of ends up being a bit of a wash, but
yeah.
Now we've got 8 Swiftwings. I think this is the record for the day.
It is, yeah.
Everyone other than the Hunters on each team now have a Swiftwing on board. So the strength of this item, overlooked for a lot of the season so far, but now with the nerfs coming to teleport and the realization that, hey, this is actually pretty good to help you farm.
Yeah.
Costs you 800 gold, sure, delays you a little bit, but you make that up in just a couple of backs by getting back to lane fast and not missing any minions or jungle camps, that kind of thing.
Yeah. What I'm hyped about is the history of Ochita on gods that can snipe things. The split one last year, he stole a Fire Giant from Tainted Minds and was able to win the game because of that. He's stolen so many Fire Giants across all the leagues last year, all the splits last year and this year. So even though they're behind, say they get as far behind as they did last game, he can still come back with that top ultimate. And he is the master of steals.
Yeah, you've always got to be wary of anyone really stealing objectives, especially at this level of smite play. You look away for half a second, and a long-range ability like Final Judgment that does so much damage is you don't expect it. If you don't hear the audio cue and you don't immediately drop the Fire Giant and stop DPSing it, it can come back to hurt you, even if you think you're confident enough to burst it down yourself.
Yeah, the same with Limits. He's got that steal potential on the snipes too, and I mean, such a prominent ADC that he can do that. There's the Osiris already rotating to that duo lane, but Rowe and Sporks have done the same. Sunbreaker down already. What are you looking for? The Ram is up in the sky. Will he get taken down? Rowe looking for the kill. Can he get it? His cooldown reduction is good, but not good enough. Rowe is able to pick up that kill. Mingyu following up onto Freemason. 2 kills for Direwolves, but that is the fight ended in the solo lane. That is a horrific Emlyn popped. Will they be able, will Kiki be able to get the kill? I don't think they will. Gold Fury not contested at all, not even ward vision.
There is I believe there's a sentry under there for the Direwolves on the armor respawn. Kiki getting into his ultimate.
What's going to happen next? Will he turn? Will he turn for the kill? Because he's got the potential to kill both level 12.
No ultimate from Chuckles, having just used it in that fight.
Yeah.
Bro will finally get himself another speed buff from it. He's now, with that rotation to the duo lane, getting a couple of kills. Sorry, just a single kill, but enough to get him back in this game. He's now level 11. Achita's caught up in experience. Everyone is pretty much on par. The gold, almost level as well. This game is very even. Achita caught out of position here though. Supernova doing so much damage. Gets picked up at limits with the basic attacks. Through the wall, I think that one was.
Yeah, Astral Arrows is piercing through walls, dealing increased damage and slowing. It's just so good for Ram. It's nice that Ochita tried to turn around to get that damage off because he knew he was dead. And Limits had that ult anyway, so even if he did get out of range of the basic attacks, Limits would just be able to hit that one first arrow and be able to get the kill. Mingyu forced to use the Aegis. Does he have the dash shot cooldown? Doesn't matter. He's knocked up. He can't do anything, and he is killed. Legacy 5 kills to 4. 12 minutes into the game. Gold Fury still going down. What is its health? That's finally it. Legacy able to get that one. Road fading back onto Weave, but no, it's Jungler for support. That's not worth it all. Are the snipes coming through? Can he land it? He does, but he's already healed it back up, and he will live. Chuckles getting away. Ochita has respawned, coming back. Kikyo misses the pluck just out of range. He will be able to eventually get the kill. Did you see how much minion damage came through from the archers there? Yeah,
archers still hurt, especially when you don't have any physical defense other than your passive protections on Osiris. So, good return, killed a couple of kills there for the Direwolves. I believe it was Weave and Freemason ended up falling in the end, but Gold Fury goes to the side of Legacy. Direwolves still a little bit behind, but now Ro has a lead in the jungle over this Osiris in experience. So does Sporks on the Fafnir over Weave. And now all of a sudden their front line is going to be tanky enough to contest in all of these team fights.
Yeah, so game 1 went to Direwolves very convincingly. Game 2 to Legacy. This the same amount of convincing fashion. But this game, so even.
Yeah, so it's the balance, right? This is the balance point. Mingyu gets rolled forward here by Limits. Terra's Blessing pops. Sunbreaker comes down. Limits taking the worst of this trade so far. And Mingyu will get the solo kill on the end. Limits just absolutely wiped out. The aggressive roll backfiring him on there.
Fantastic play there by Mingyu, being able to capitalize on that, using that ultimate as well. And the percentage of missing HP on the Mark of the Golden Crow, so his basic attack dealing superior damage.
Yeah, really good boxing there from the Direwolves Hunter. Picks himself up a kill, Executioner online now as well as the Ikaval, so big power spikes here and absolutely going to be shredding through any objectives that are taken up.
So was he behind? Did he just finish his Executioner?
I think he had it online when he took that fight, but he'll now have a bit of extra gold in his pockets to spend on his next item, and you can see Limits hasn't bought anything else, so clearly didn't have enough gold to even start up a tier 1 at Chin size.
Alrighty. So, no Shogun's Kasari. That's an interesting pickup. The Genji's Guard instead of Shogun's Kasari on El Chocos. One of those the attack speed increase and you get the magical defense anyway.
Yeah, I would like to see a Shogun's Kasari. Maybe they're leaving it for Freemason to pick up, as his basic attacks being augmented is just as good as having Erlang Shen's, I guess, when they're not in a teamfight situation. But Genji's Guard coming to the forefront. Maybe that passive change is just enough to keep it, get it into the meta, or maybe they're just finding value out of it. And you can see its cooldown is now active, its internal cooldowning. Kiki's still trying to fight into this.
Yeah, he looks mad. He certainly looks mad that he lost out on that trade. Look for the pluck, but he knew that Ro was there as well, so perhaps that was what he was going for. They don't know that Weave is there. He didn't walk. Actually, no, he did walk over a ward, so Direwolves know that they are even in the numbers. 2 people rotating over. That is Divine, and it is Freemason.
Yep, bit of a wash there in the end, but this game Direwolf's lost a Gold Fury. Polder Demon hasn't been taken yet. And yet, it's only 1,000 gold. It was out to about 3,000 at one point, and you've now got a Sunder online for Kiki. Kiki is mad. He wants to fight.
He wants to win.
He's happy that he's playing Sobek. He doesn't want to have to play any extra games. He doesn't have to. He wants to get this game over and done with. He wants to just melt someone and be like, I am back to being solo back. Just rocking that sweet, sweet Guardian there.
Look at that auto attacks coming from our Chuckles. It's so quick. Void Stone almost online for Kiki. Look how much damage he took, and he just doesn't care. He's just going to keep going back into our Chocolate because he knows he can heal up with a 3, and then the 2 in the minions as well with that Magic Shroud. He just gets his health back so quickly.
Yeah, it's back to a traditional solo lane fight, although Chuckle's still kind of chunking him with that 1 activated to swing so hard. It's still slapping each other as the 2 go. Freemasons rotate over, but so does Row. Portal Demon, I'm guessing the ward coverage may be there from Weaves, just kind of hanging around. Not going to be starting that one up on his own anytime soon. Let's have a quick look at these builds. So Masamune now online for both of these junglers. You see the diversity in the protections being picked up by both solo laners. Both will have physical and magical protection online, quite full magical protection online for Kiki very shortly. Crit versus Chin Science. So I've got Rama going into, limits on Rama going into tier 2 crit, looking for that rage, looking for that burst potential, whereas we've got the more teamfight oriented Chin Science coming out from Mingyu. Well, it's single target, right? But teamfight in the sense that you can shred a tank rather than shredding a squishy.
Exactly. And it's consistent damage from Mingyu. It'll be the same attack basically against every single guy. It just depends on their health, right? Yep. Whereas with crit, it's chance. So you don't know. You could deal 200 damage per basic attack and then suddenly hit at 400, but you don't know. Yeah, and it can be the difference in a fight, but with the amount of tanks during this game, there are 6 frontliners, right? I mean, the junglers aren't particularly tanky at this point. They're not. They're obviously building a bit of damage because they need to be relevant in that aspect as well. But Legacy taking Gold Fury here, just looking to bait, see if there's vision from Direwolves, and they get pinged out on the map. And our Chuckles and Kiki going to go back to slapping each other. Yeah, they certainly are. This is a fun lane in the solo lane. Nothing happening by the Gold Fury actually. Are they going to initiate? Because they're just sort of hovering around each other. Yeah, just hovering, seeing if anyone's going to get out of position. Maybe they can get a free pick as a result. Kiki having a good jump. These two just going at it, backs and forwards. Once he has that Void Shield full, he won't be taking any damage from Mystical Mail anyway, but Kiki does take the worst of this trade, and Chuckle's starting to get the better of this engagement, but Kiki will get away, be able to back and swift wing his way back, probably finish off that Void Shield now. I don't think Kiki backed yet. He'll finish Void Stone. What else will he get? Starting off into maybe Urchin?
No, it's a bit, I think it's a bit late for Urchin. Man of the Discord I'd like to see out of the solo laner. It seems to be he'll be the one initiating, getting into that back line. Getting into the vice. He's got the Sunder online, so getting a Mantle of Discord block when the other team's trying to peel for their backline is going to be a massive difference in a team fight, especially if it procs on Limits, who is building into that crit. If that DPS is taken off the table, even for that 1 second stun that Mantle of Discord proc will cause, that allows Direwolves to get in and try to kill Limits during that 1 second, or at least chain the CC on him. Alright, go through now. Point of contestation. There's Ochita. Forced to use that Aegis. Will survive for just now. Supernova coming through and Eye Divine dealing so much damage. Freemason is able to secure that kill onto him, and he is sent back to the grey screen. There's the Sunbreaker coming through from Mingyu. What else? Will he get rooted? No. Uses those beasts. Does get away. Aegis popped now, and he was so far out of position. Even with the dash, he couldn't get back to the rest of his team. There's just so much CC coming out from Legacy. 2 for nothing. And that's where you see the difference between the the previous iteration of Aegis is Kiki's here trying to contest this Gold Fury, getting chain CC'd. Sports is here as well, goes into the water, but doesn't quite.
Oh, they did steal it.
In the end.
Beautiful from the dial.
That was Sports that managed to get it. It does fall down in return, but that's a worthy trade. They keep the gold difference relatively even still. And
how do you steal that as a Fafnir?
Disarm. Disarm the damage. You'd leap in.
You're not wrong, yeah. And then they can't
disarm
do
their basic attacks if their abilities aren't fired fast enough, and Fafnir can just kind of throw a hammer at it and walk away. But Horde Demon immediately start up by Legacy. They don't want to let anything go for free, and they do manage to secure that one. Row in a lot of trouble now as well.
Yeah, that was not much.
Mystic rushes away, but Heavenly's popped. Kiki's here to peel.
No, he does not have the peel. Old Chuckles is able to secure that kill. Dash onto Freemason, but the tail whip is on cooldown. No one else there for the damage. On the left lane, we can see Ochita is able to secure that tier 1 tower.
It's kind of the story though. Legacy are getting the objectives. They're not fully controlling the jungle like they did in the previous game. The Direwolves are able to get something. It was a Gold Fury steal. They lose Portal Demon, but then they get a tier 1. And now that a fight breaks out here, Zydomite gets blocked and lurking in the water spot again. Like he can try and get this team fight.
Look
back
at
in their favor while Ochita split pushes and forces Mason back.
He's still he was still split pushing for so long, but I guess when you've got no one to deal with it, why stop?
You got a full minion wave, why not? Gets a decent chunk of damage. Spider-Man just gets melted. Mingyu gets credit for that kill.
Absolutely destroyed was the health bar of iDivine, but now Direwolves needing to play a bit passively. There was that Heavenly Agility. That's just called Sprint now, right? Heavenly Agility.
I think it's
Sprint.
Heavenly Wings.
God, what? These names, man.
I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure. I just call it Heavenly now. I don't think it's Sprint anymore. I wish it was still called Sprint.
It should be called Sprint.
It was a good name.
It's the superior name.
That's it. XP now completely even if we look at the graphs.
Wow.
Gold also essentially even.
Yeah.
So this game at 24 minutes might as well be 0 minutes because you're just going to be starting fresh now. Items pretty similar on both teams. Most players starting to work towards their 4th and 5th items. Heart of the Ocean online now for Sporks on that Fafnir. Needs to get it stacked up a little bit more though.
Yeah.
Whilst these fights have been going backwards and forwards, he's unfortunately dead for the last couple of picks that they've managed to get. So once he gets that online, he's still in a relatively tanky position. Looks like he's building into that Relic Dagger yet again. He's got tier 2 online, unless he's going to go into the Winged Blade, which is also a viable option. A lot of slows on the side of Legacy that are kind of locking him in place when he is in that Draconic form. So player damage, Erling Shen at the top. And then Sobek.
Not surprising, considering how many
slapping each other a lot. But then you look at Mingyu, who's been rotating into these fights and coming up huge for Direwolves.
The downside is look at Toff. Ochita's just been focused. You want to see him at least in that mid-range, not at the bottom below the supports.
Yeah, he's chosen not to go into any lifesteal. Looks like he's working into a Rod of Tahuti next. Now he's got the Obsidian Shard and the Book of Toth online. Lifesteal not particularly effective on Toth. Bancroft is pretty good on every mage, right? But seems to be the preferred method is just one-shot someone, get a Book of Toth, get Obsidian Shard, get Rod of Tahuti, just annihilate someone. Don't worry about your sustain. Pretty safe with the evade and punish, but the composition out of Legacy allows them to get to Toth. Toth is a very difficult god to lock down. But with this 3 frontliners, combined with a Rama who can rain down damage from a distance when he's locked down, it's forced him out of these fights, but Direwolves are able to take advantage of that in other aspects. They've gotten back into this game despite Ochita falling down. Ochita's getting his damage off, he's getting his ultimate off. Whether he kills someone with it or not, he's still providing the damage, even when he falls. Yeah.
He has missed a couple, because he's running away, and then he's charging it, and then he needs to quickly 180 and flick hit that damage. So it's difficult to secure that, but being focused, it's just so hard to play as a Toth. Especially with that much lockdown.
So he's 0 and 4, but he's now 2 levels ahead of iDivine.
That is... How do you even do that, man? Ochita is a magician.
I mean, you split push.
Yeah.
And take like 7 waves while the fight's being won by your team in the solo lane, I guess. That helps you out a fair bit. But able to farm despite the focus, and now the gods are starting to hit level 20. Everything's pretty even at this point. The next big contention point is going to be the Fire Giant.
Are we going to see that 10-minute dance again?
I hope not, because
yeah, we want to see engagements.
I want to see engagements, and now that Direwolves are in a position where they can also look for the baits and look for those engagements themselves, they're not waiting for Legacy to overcommit to a fight. I don't think that dance will happen. Direwolves aren't the kind of team that'll dance around Fire Giant for 10 minutes. They're the kind of team that'll try and get a pick. As soon as they get that pick, they'll start at Fire Giant.
Yeah.
If they can't do Fire Giant, they'll recognize that and they'll go for more picks. And that's what happened in the first game. They were a lot further ahead, but I think now that it's a more balanced state, Sunder comes out here onto Chuckles, getting really low here.
Yeah, forced back into that tower, uses the heal, and will stay alive. There's no chase potential there. There is Blessing still online if needed, but it is our Chuckles, and it is Erlang, and it is 27 minutes, so he will be safe and sound.
Well, Terra's Blessing was actually popped as well as Heavenly.
Was it? Oh, God,
so
I didn't see that.
That is a big...
Saw the blue line, but...
So 2 ultimates used for the sake of saving your solo laner there in Chuckles. They get the Sunder and the Horrific Emblem, but now Freemason finds himself in a bit of trouble as well. Yeah,
he's still massively tanky though, and it is so hard to bring down that health bar. Look, okay, but that's kind of strange because he's only got 1 magical defense item plus a Frostbound.
A lot of health though, and then the passive protections from Mass Immune as well.
True.
Relatively tanky. Third crit item being started for limits. This is the point where...
Yeah, that's scary.
You're pretty much critting nearly every base.
Yeah, you've got to be worried.
You're more unlucky if you don't crit than where you are if you do crit.
Yeah.
Rage doesn't have any passive stacks on it yet, so that's, I guess, a positive for the side of Direwolves. But Mingyu, while he's been doing a lot of work, and as has Cheeto, getting his damage off, his Eye Divine, Speak of the Devil, gets hieroglyphically assaulted down to half HP.
Yeah, that was only 1 of those, and a stun.
Yeah.
That was huge damage. If those other 2 had landed, then he was 100% dead.
Yep, that's the Rod of Tahuti now online. For Ochita explains that massive power spikes, and it was the Wing Blade picked up by Sporks to mitigate some of those slows coming his way. Bit of a wash here in the mid lane as Kiki's kind of posturing up around Gold Fury and Direwolves sitting in behind to see if he can get a pluck here and catch someone out of position.
Yeah, maybe we'll see how it goes, but it's very difficult for them to be able to make these picks with the Terra's Blessing online, and they look for Weave. Will they be able to secure that kill? He gets the dash, procs uses that ultimate so that he will live. Cooldowns, reset for everyone. There's Limits up in the sky looking for Mingyu. Not going to find any snipes there. I think he only hit 1, and even then it was difficult, but Divine is the first to fall in this fight. Under the tower, 2 row, and Direwolves are relentless now. Mingyu, the second kill onto Limits. Both carries are down, and as you said before, Direwolves will look for the pick, and now both damage dealers are down for Legacy. They're going straight for this Gold Fury.
Yeah, they will go straight for the objective. It takes a decent chunk of burst, but he's there to peel for his mid laner. Freemason is key to evade and punish right to the face. Gets taken down very low, and now this Gold Fury is going to go into this and let's get in there.
Yeah.
That would help.
There's no reason for Legacy to fight this or even contest it because they've lost it. It's 5 versus 3. Even though you've got 3 frontliners, they're not going to deal enough damage to kill someone or steal that Fire Giant.
Yeah, and
sorry, Gold Fury.
Gold Fury, but the smart decision was to leave that alone, because if they go in, they don't steal it. Even if they do steal it, and they get sent back to the fountain by being picked up by Direwolves and what would eventually be the collapse onto them, they then lose Portal Demon and potentially the Fire Giant, because they're trickling back 1 at a time because they keep getting picked 1 at a time. So it was a good call to back off. Good fight for Direwolves. And this is what I was talking about. Direwolves now won't allow Legacy to just dance around in fights.
They're going
to look to engage, and they're going to look to get these picks and immediately go for the objectives as they pick up this tier 1 in solo. Another fight is breaking out from Direwolves.
There's a Terror's Blessing. It's going to be difficult for Direwolves to be able to secure these kills. El Chuckle stunned up. Hieroglyphic Assault coming through. Ultimate as well charged up. Will he find it? How many will he find? He finds 3. So much damage onto Limits. 4's up into the sky, but Divine picks up a kill onto Mingy, so the DPS is gone. Row next to fall to Limits, so this is a reverse of the last fight. Jungler for ADC this time, and Legacy are on top.
Yeah, so 2 for nothing goes down for... Oh, sorry, no, Chuckles didn't end up falling. He got away with 5 HP yet again, so yeah. Kiki on the receiving end of some damage now as well as a cheater trying to deal it back to Freemason.
Sports jumping in, goes for the stun, but it won't land. Only one of the 2 stuns does. This jumps now on cooldown, so we can't go back to safety, but finds it anyway. Legacy starting up the Portal Demon.
Yeah, posturing up over that Portal Demon, and Direwolves kind of low other than a cheater to contest, but the cheater doesn't have an ultimate. He won't be safe enough to get in there, and I think they just have to let it go, and they do just that. Kiki's there.
He's dead.
Kiki's getting crit.
Yeah.
Slowed,
don't know why he went in
there. And crit to death. He went in there to contest the Portal Demon, but I think the call there was the same as what we were talking about with Legacy. Back off, let them have the objective. They got the objective, right? Now they're able to start up the fire zone. As a result, is they're all still very healthy. Yeah. Ochita's ult
almost off cooldown, so we'll see if he can steal it, but there's a warder off the backside, and the steal potential is now gone as the Fire Giant is secured by Legacy. They're chasing. Sports is the first target. Row off to the side by that tier 1 tower. He needs to get back to his team, but he's around the back, and it's difficult for him to get there, but iDivine picking up a kill on 2. This is just a wipe for Legacy. 3 kills already so fast. Row wasn't there. He wasn't able to help with the Fire Giant buff. That's just too much damage for Direwolves to deal with.
The positive for Direwolves is they haven't even lost a tower yet. Legacy will be able to pick up some towers, but they won't be able to push deeper into their base. Kiki will be up right now. Sports is only 30 seconds away. They'll get the tier 1 and the tier 2 in solo lane. They might look for a Phoenix Row, not really in a position to defend it just yet, so looks like they will continue this push.
They will indeed. There's no reason to stop. I mean, 3 of them are still dead. 13 seconds is the shortest respawn. Only 2 members alive for Direwolves. Kiki at the start getting picked. There was the start of the fall of Direwolves. Kiki gonna get crippled, but he's already used his dash and he will get picked off once again. Seems to be a bit tilted.
I'm not sure about tilted, but just trying to do his best to get his team back into this game now. It was going so well for them, and then all of a sudden they now found themselves 6k behind, Fire Giant behind. They're losing towers left, right, and center. They've now lost a right side Phoenix. On the back foot again now are Direwolves. And it does come from that bit of a misplay from Kiki trying to test the fire portal when they didn't really need to do that. They could have given it up. Yes, it's a little bit of gold, a little bit of experience for Legacy, but look at the swing in the other direction when you go in and you get yourself picked. It's then a 4v5 into a Fire Giant team, and you just get melted. The tier 1 was still up in solo lane, they just dove tier 2.
Yeah, so that one misplay could, I mean, arguably the result was a loss of Portal Demon, then Fire Giant, tier 1, tier 2 Phoenix, and a tier 1.
Yep.
That is a lot.
Not to mention 3-4 kills being swung back the way of Legacy at the same time.
Yeah, that's a massive turn, and Legacy taking full advantage of the misstep by Direwolves.
And that's what this meta's kind of evolved into. If you manage to get through the early game and you're even, who punishes the first misplay? And who punishes it the hardest ends up winning the game. Or at least taking control of the game. Legacy by no means have won this just yet. Their Fire Giant buff will be falling off shortly. They're going to look to siege up this duo lane, take another tier 1, try to extend this gold lead. Direwolves now all fully healthy, all fully ready to fight. But do they give up this tier 2 or they continue to fight into this Fire Giant buff?
I think they're gonna fight it. If they give it up, I wouldn't be too surprised, but with the way they're playing today, they're just playing aggressive, and they want to defend this tier 2, keep it alive. Because otherwise they've only got 1 left in that mid lane, and then it's all Phoenixes. Still 4 towers alive for Legacy. Direwolves haven't had many opportunities to pressure these lanes. Sure, that solo lane tower was down, but It's because they were at the Legacy were at the Gold Fury, and at the same time reversed that, but Ochita was in the left lane, Legacy were in the right.
Yeah, so it looks like ATO and PG taking a lot of poke here.
Yeah, he's going to go down. He's the first to fall. Limits picking that one up. The 80 carry doing so much here for Legacy. Snipes coming through. 1, 2, 3. Only 2 land. El Chuckles now chasing down Mingyu. And the ADC now has fallen for Direwolves. And this will be the end of the game. They will close it out. 2-1. Legacy over Direwolves.
Beautiful comeback from Legacy after that first game. Didn't let it get them down. They take that confidence from game 2. They keep the game even to Direwolves.
Yep.
And then just that one misstep, that one missed opportunity to be a little bit more passive ends up snowballing the game in the space of 5 to 10 minutes. And now Legacy get that free win in the finals. They get the morning off. Direwolves now have to play against Kanga again. So it'll be a rematch from their round 1 set. So Kanga now have a bit more information on Direwolves as well. They can see what's effective against them and whether they can bring that tomorrow and try and force an upset there. So Legacy take the win over Direwolves again, and now Direwolves will have to, if they do manage to beat Kanga, will have to win 3 out of 4 games. Well, 3 out of 4 games essentially, because if they drop 2, then they're out. So
so if you don't know how double Elam works, the way we're doing it is, from the winner's bracket, you go into the finals, you have a 1-win advantage. So you only need 2 wins to win that whole series. So, yeah, that was a fantastic play by Legacy, and that comes to the end of today.
Good end to the day. Really good set. Fiercely contested and backwards and forwards the entire time. And some entertaining Smite today. It was good to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, we saw 2-0 Direwolves Kanga start us off, and then 2-0 Skyfire Legacy, which Skyfire surprised quite a few people, and Legacy moved forward. Then Kanga versus Skyfire, that one was pretty hectic, pretty back and forth. 2-0 though to Kanga, and they moved on. Now they're gonna face Direwolves, who just lost 2-1. Guys, we will see you tomorrow at 10 AM starting with Direwolves versus Kanga, and then the winner of that later on in the afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.